A man can control everything around him and uses it with the wrong intentions. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy the movie. We begin with an architect, Michael Newman, sleeping on his couch. He has two children, Ben and Samantha, and a wife, Donna. Michael tries to turn on the TV, so he presses random remotes which activates random things in the house. He then rushes to work outside. His wife, Donna, reminds him of their son's swim meet. Later that day at his office, his boss, John Ammer, gives Michael the opportunity to design a new luxury hotel. He is happy to take the project, but apparently he has to give up time with his family, including the 4th of July and today's swim meet. Because of this, he arrives late to the swim meet. Ben is disappointed in his father and seems to have a better bond with his coach, Bill, who is very supportive of Ben. Back in their home, Michael tells Donna that he might have to postpone their 4th of July camping trip because of the new project. Husband and wife get into an argument, so to blow off steam he tries watching TV but accidentally turns on the helicopter, which hits him. Annoyed, he goes to a supermarket and looks for a universal remote control for the TV. There he sees a door marked Beyond and enters. There's a man in a lab coat working on some machinery. Michael asks for a universal remote control for the TV. The man named Morty offers to give him an even newer, even better universal remote. He takes him into an inner storeroom where Morty retrieves a strange-looking remote. He tells Michael that all he has to do is point and click and the machine will program itself. He then gives it to him for free. Michael is wary at first but takes it. Morty then tells him that the remote is non-returnable. Back at his home, he uses the remote to turn on the TV. Donna comes over and says that she's convinced the kids about not going camping. She then asks if he's ever going to have time for them in the future. Michael pauses the TV and starts saying how he'll earn enough money to live an easy life and doesn't realize that she has paused as well. He unpauses the TV and his wife goes away without either of them realizing what happened. Later, as he's working, his dog Sundance keeps barking and he grows irritated at this. In frustration, he points the remote at Sundance and presses the volume lower button. Sundance barks without making a single noise. This truly freaks him out and he thinks that he's hallucinating. The next morning, Michael goes to Morty's place and asks if this whole thing is a reality show. He makes fun of the whole thing. Morty asks him to press menu. Michael does so and a whole new virtual world appears around them. It's his life menu. In it, he presses the commentary section and sees one of his life events, but from a third perspective. He then presses the making of section and is taken to the moment his parents did the mating dance and conceived him. Morty then says that he can go to any moment of his life, he just has to think about the time and place and click. They then go back to the present. Morty gives him his card and they part ways. Donna tells him that she's invited his parents to come over for dinner. He is annoyed at this, so he fast forwards time and skips the entire dinner. He then resumes his work. Donna comes downstairs and asks him to do some chores. He says he can't, so they argue. He skips the whole thing with the remote to see what happened. He goes upstairs and the two make up. Then they do some love making, but Michael accidentally fast forward on himself. He enjoyed it, she didn't. Then they talk and Michael finds out that during the dinner that he skipped, he promised to buy his dad a birthday gift, so he calls Morty, who doesn't pick up the phone but instead arrives at his home. They go outside and Marty says that fast forwarding will cause him to go autopilot. Morty takes him back to his memory and shows him the dinner where he had promised to buy his dad a birthday gift. After the two-part, Michael gets sick, so he fast forwards his sick phase. Apparently he also did his work, so he's extra happy. He fast forwards his readying phase and goes to work. He reaches the firm and gives the hotel proposal designed to John. Later they talk to their clients, who are Japanese people. As they are talking amongst themselves, he raises their volume and changes their language to English. He realizes that the clients hate the design, so he rips the design in front of them and gives suggestions that sits better with them. Super happy, he buys his kids bicycles. He also gifts his wife a new bag and then he says that he got made partner in the firm. Donna is very happy to hear this and suggests that they play their song, which played on their first kiss. Michael forgot the song, so he pauses time and goes back to one of their First dates he goes back to the present and gives her the name of the song Saving Everything. The next day Michael realizes that he isn't partner yet, that John misled him yesterday. He still has to do more in the project, which will take him 2 months at least. Angry, he pauses time and slaps his boss a few times. He also farts in his face. Later he talks to Morty about fast-forwarding 2 whole months. Morty advises against it and gives a serious metaphor. Michael promises not to do it. Later he hears Donna trying to convince his children to return their bikes. They sound heartbroken. Michael can't take this anymore, so he fast-forwards to his promotion. He talks to John and realizes that more than a year has passed now, not 2 months. He suddenly fast-forwarded to a psychiatrist and he and Donna are fighting again. Suddenly he is fast-forwarded to a family dinner where his children are bigger. They even have a new dog, Peanuts. Apparently Sundance is dead. He breaks down hearing that his beloved dog is dead, calls Morty, who arrives and scares him. Morty tells him that the remote is only utilizing his most used feature, in this case fast-forwarding. He gives the remote to Morty, but it's back in his hand. He breaks it and it's still with him. Morty reminds him that the remote is non-returnable and then leaves. He sneaks into his office where John tells him that he is moving to Morocco and Michael might get promoted to CEO one day. Michael says that he would like that the remote senses it and fast-forwards to him being promoted to CEO. 10 years have passed and he is living in a fancy apartment. He has gained some massive weight and is unrecognizable. He goes home and finds his son Ben all grown up now and also fat. Samantha is going out on a date and Michael does not appreciate her clothes, so he sends her back up outside. He happily hugs Donna only to realize that they are no longer married. Ben's swim coach Bill is her new husband. Michael doesn't understand what's going on, so he starts to fight Bill. Don intervenes and the two argue. Sensing this, the remote starts to fast forward, but he quickly pauses time. In his anger he calls out to Morty, who appears just there. Morty explains that during fast-forwarding Michael is in autopilot and so automatically chose according to his old behaviors. Basically he always chose work over family, which was the cause of everything he sees now. He says that he'll win Donna back and write something for her. He also does what every good nutcracker would do. He then unpayes time and tries to give her the note, but instead slips and hits his head. When he wakes up, his body is normal again. Donna reveals that it's been 6 years now and she's still with Bill. He gets angry. They both get angry and she leaves. Sometime later he goes to his firm where a video of him is playing on a screen saying Architect of the Year 2018. Just then his son Ben comes over and looking fit and fine. Ben is now the director of the firm. They go to his office where he reveals that Grandpa is dead. Michael is devastated to hear that his father passed away. He goes to the graveyard and tries to take the remote to the moment of his death. However, Morty comes and says that the remote won't take him there as he wasn't present during his father's death, so he goes to the last time he saw his father in the memory. Ben comes to show Michael a shopping mall design that he made. The background. Michael is impressed with his son, but the memory. Michael is cold and uncaring. Grandpa arrives looking very old. He wants the three of them to go out, but Michael has no time. Grandpa is heartbroken and this makes the background. Michael furious at his younger self. He keeps replaying the moment his father says I love you son, crying all the while. In the present, Morty says he's sorry for taking his father from him. Morty reveals himself to be the angel of death. Michael is scared, so he uses the remote to go to a happy moment. He is fast-forwarded to a wedding and the MC asks him to give a speech. Once he's up there, Michael realizes that it's Ben's wedding and gets excited. He also sees his mother, old and frail but also happy. He gives congratulations to all and then goes to his mother and savors every moment with her. Donna and Bill are still together. Samantha is also all grown up and he hears her call Bill Dad. Hearing this, Michael gets a heart attack at the hospital. Ben and Samantha are looking over him. Apparently Samantha's been there for the past 2 days. Despite growing up with Bill, she has always considered Michael as her father. Ben then says that he cancelled his honeymoon because he has to take care of business. Michael is against this but can't do much. They leave, so he forcefully gets up. Morty says that he must rest, but Michael pushes on and exits the hospital. He sees them in the distance and runs in the rain. However, He falls to the ground and screams Ben's name. Ben notices him and runs to him. The whole family rushed to him gasping for breath. He manages to whisper, "Family comes first." Ben nods and cries. He tells Samantha that he loves her. To Bill he gives the special finger but also a gesture of approval. To Donna he manages to whisper, "I'm sorry." He then gives her the note he had written years ago but was still in his own pocket. Morty kneels down beside him and says that it's time to go. He wakes up and finds himself in the supermarket where he first went to buy the universal clicker. He happily hugs the attendant there and runs outside cheerfully. He enters his parents' house and rushes into their bed, telling them he loves them so much he wants them to come for dinner whenever they want. He then rushes home and wakes everyone up. Donna comes angrily but stops when Michael tells him that he's busy planning their 4th of July camping trip. They kiss. Ben and Samantha comes down and he kisses them, relieved and happy. As Donna goes upstairs to prepare their massage time, Michael sees the remote. He takes up the note, beside it a message from Morty. He decides to do the right thing and throws it away. The remote does not return back to him, so he goes upstairs to his family, and that's where the movie ends. Make sure to check out the next film displayed on your screen right now and subscribe now, with all notifications enabled to not miss out on future videos.